and welcome to another episode of Nature Adventures with Rob and Andrea. My name is Andrea Denham. I'm the Executive Director of the Upper Peninsula Land Conservancy.
And I'm Rob Weiner. I'm with Michigan State University Extension.
Today we are out here at the Vielmetti-Peters Conservation Reserve in beautiful Marquette, Michigan. We're right on the edge of Marquette Township and Negaunee Township, right behind us here. Right by the mire. It's a really nice preserve with about 4 miles of trails, a waterfall, and all sorts of good stuff to see. Really easy to get to right on the edge of town here. And today we are actually not catching butterflies with these nets. Rob, what are we going to do today?
Today we are going to be monitoring a stream, and we're going to be using these nets to catch what are called macroinvertibrates. They're insects that are found in the water, and based on what we catch, we can get a pretty good idea of the quality of this water here.
Yeah, so we're pretty excited to have you all join us today for another nature adventure. You ready, Rob?
Ready.
All right, let's go.
Here we are on site at the stream we're going to be monitoring, and we're going to be testing. And we're going to be using a net. There's different types of nets you can use, but the idea is that you're going to go into the water and you're going to catch insects that live in the water. So an insect is an invertebrate. It does not have a backbone. And it's called macro because we can see it with our own eyes, as opposed to being microscopic where we would need some type of magnification like a microscope. So we're catching macroinvertebrates, insects that we can see with our own eyes that live in the water. And the reason we do this is because based on the types of insects we catch here in water and the amount of these insects, we can get a pretty good clue as to the quality of this water. Many insects are considered indicator species, which means they indicate to us as humans what the quality of this habitat is like.
So out here at the Vielmetti-Peters Reserve, we have a really exciting opportunity to study the difference between two streams and the difference in water quality between two streams. And that's why we're out here today collecting macroinvertebrates from two different streams, and we're comparing the two different findings that we've got. So on our left-hand side here, we've got Midway Creek, which actually is called Midway because it's halfway between Marquette and Ishpeming. So we're out in Negaunee area, and this creek actually flows from up higher in the highlands and comes down through the highway and into this nature preserve and flows on to our left side right here. But the creek on our right-hand side, we call Spring Creek because it actually comes up from a natural spring right here on the nature preserve and collects water from the ground all around it, comes up into this area and flows down on it along its way. And behind me, we've actually got the confluence of both Midway Creek and Spring Creek on their way down to the Dead River, which flows, of course, out into Lake Superior. So here in the Vielmetti-Peters Reserve, we have a really beautiful example of how a watershed works and where water can come from in different areas. And we can study how that might be affecting the Dead River, which is a really nice trout habitat, and Lake Superior, which is, of course, where we all get our fish, recreate, get our drinking water, get our beer, get all of our watery needs for this community, and significantly, throughout the rest of the Great Lakes region. Lake Superior is very important. So right here on the Vielmetti-Peters Reserve, we can study how nature preserves and groundwater might be affecting water quality in Lake Superior.
Using a smaller dish tub, pour in some of the water and debris from your bucket. Now, let the water and debris settle. If you don't churn it up, the sediments and debris will sink to the bottom, giving you a better view of the water. Depending on how much debris and sediments are in your water, you might have to let it sit undisturbed for a couple minutes. Carefully move stuff around. Watch closely for anything that moves. Use tweezers and eyedroppers to carefully move the insects into an ice cube tray. Look carefully. Some insects, like this caddisfly, don't look like an insect at all upon first glance. Caddisflies make their own home out of debris from the stream. As you place insects into the ice cube tray, try to group them according to the same type of insect. You may need to move some around to different cubes as you go through them. One of the important identifying features of these insects is the number of tails and types of tails each one has. This feature is much easier to see if the insect is not swimming. You might find different species of caddisflies. Different species of these make their home out of different things. Some use sand, some use leaf litter, some use a combination of these, or something else entirely.
Rob and I are out here, and we just did a really quick survey of these streams, and we're out here in July, specifically out here to film. When we're coming out here to study and get really good information on what the water quality is of these two streams, we come out in late May or early June. In the height of bug season is both late May and early June for the flying insects and the aquatic insects. So normally when we come out here, we get it just a ton more, and we'll come out here for a lot longer, mostly because a lot of these aquatic macroinvertebrates, those are insects that live in the water that we can see with our eyes, they all have very short life cycles or hatching cycles, that they might start in the water and then come out onto land or come out into the air afterwards. But we'll find the vast majority of them in the water in May and June. Of course, this is a fun activity all year round. You will find some of these macroinvertebrates all year round in different streams, and it still gives you a pretty good idea of the quality of the water of your streams year round, but definitely find some more in other times. When we are coming out here to do a scientific survey, when we're doing research, we use this data sheet right here to collect some information in the field. There's tons of different data sheets and tons of different assessments that you can use that are freely available online, but we use the Michigan Clean Water Corps assessment, or MyCorps, which gives us a list of different macroinvertebrates that we would find. So we separate them out into different segments so that we can count them really easily. Part of the MyCorps water quality assessment is that if after sampling a stream you have more than 10 of a certain type of macroinvertebrate in a single sampling, it means that that these macroinvertebrates are common in your water system. So if you have a lot of these macroinvertebrates that are considered group 1, which means they're very sensitive to water quality, and you have more than 10 of different types of sensitive groups, it means that they're common. It means that water quality is really high. So you can kind of tell based on the number as well as the type of macroinvertebrate that you're finding in your stream what quality your water's at. One of the last and very important parts of doing a stream macroinvertebrate survey is returning our new friends here back to the stream. And it's really important to remember that a lot of them are very sensitive, and we want to be respectful of them as we're returning them to the stream. So Rob and I put the majority of the water back in here, and now I've got all of our samples, the ones that we counted, and I'm just going to really gently release them back into this water here and kind of make sure that I get them all out of here so that I don't get any of them dried out or anything. And just be real nice to them as you're letting them back in. And now all we have to do is bring them back to the stream and rinse out all of our equipment. Another fantastic nature adventure, Rob. I really appreciated that.
Yeah, this was really great. It was nice to get out and learn some more neat stuff.
Definitely. My favorite part was the stoneflies. I really liked their arms and their little fantails. That was cool.
Those are really neat. I think I would pick the caddisflies. I just think it's just so neat that they build their own homes. But the whole reason we do this is that, with any water quality monitoring program, if you can do this if you have any water on your property, if you have a favorite place you'd like to go in the woods, if you have a park, you can do this anywhere. And it's really valuable information to collect, because if you do this on a regular basis, the same time every year, maybe you're only available in October, and you go every October, the same time, first week in October, and you collect this information year after year after year. If you ever notice a change or something really different, now you know that there's something else going on in the environment that you need to investigate, because something changed, whatever conditions that went on here.
Yeah, so there is actually one more final step to our stream monitoring, our macroinvertibrates monitoring, and that is, what do we do with the data? So like what Rob was saying, in order to be able to compare what we find year after year, it's very important for us to collect the data, put it in a database. It can be an Excel spreadsheet, it can just be a list that you keep with numbers from year to year. For the UP Land Conservancy, we have a database that we maintain, and that helps us understand if there's something going on in the environment for either the stream that originates here on the property or the stream that comes in from town. If there's something happening that we should be looking into, whether or not there's a management thing that we need to change, or somebody we might need to talk to about what's going on upstream.
Well, this is really great. Thanks again, Andrea. Is there anything I need to know if I want to come and visit this preserve again later this summer?
That's a great question, Rob. Yep, the Vielmetti-Peters Reserve, again, is really easy to get to, right on the edge of town, on the end of Brickyard Road here. It is open from dawn until dusk, so no camping, no fires. Please take your dogs elsewhere when you're going to exercise them. We keep this area, preserved for the nature that's out here. And other than that, we'd love it if you come out and check out the waterfall or 4 miles of trails, and if you happen to find anything really cool, let us know. You can find some more information about who we are and what we do here on the preserve at uplandconservancy.org.
Great. Well, we'll definitely be back. Thanks again for joining us, everyone. We hope you learned a lot. You can always get a hold of us if you have any questions, and we'll see you next time.
See ya. You want to go enter some data?
Let's go enter some
All
data.
right.